Hello again, collecting maniacs. I'm the keeper of the asylum again, as usual. Today we've got the, well, it used to be bi-monthly, but this time it's monthly look at pick-ups for the month. Now the reason I've done this a bit earlier than normal is because it's been a rather bumper month for comic book hardbacks. Yeah, it's tinged with a bit of sadness for me actually, because the remainder shop that I picked these up from sadly gone out of business and has closed down after several years trading. Sad in many ways, because I won't be able to buy any cheap hardbacks anymore, so I guess the pick-up videos will be less skewed towards comic book hardbacks, and secondly because obviously it's just sad that I can't pick any more up. On the brighter side, they did, I mean, every cloud has a silver lining. They did have a closing down sale, and I mean, I picked up a hell of a lot of good hardbacks. I think paid about just over 50 quid for 16, which works out, you do the math, it works out just over 3 quid a lump. But I'm not talking about, rubbish hardbacks here, I'm talking about quality stuff. So yeah, that's where the bulk of the video will be. But I've also got a few games and films to show you as usual. Now, before we get cracking, I must apologise once again to anybody that has commented on any of my videos and hasn't received a reply. Unfortunately, my notifications are completely knackered. I'm not getting notifications of either subscriptions or comments. So what I'm having to do every so often is run through, especially the latest video, run through and see if there's anything that I haven't replied to. But obviously, I can't do that every day because I've got about 40 odd videos up by now. But if anybody has replied to any of the older videos, has commented on any of the older videos, then I'll be getting down the line, to the older stuff, and I will get to it. I mean, I like to, if people have got the decency to and the time to comment on my videos, and I like to reply to them all. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. But until I get this situation sorted out, I don't know what's caused it. Then that's the situation anyway. I can't, I normally reply straight away if I see a comment, but that's not happening at the moment. So that out of the way. Right, let's kick off with Steelbooks. Now, it's been a very, very, very quiet month for Steelbooks. I must admit, with getting all this comic stuff, you run out of cash, and I haven't been concentrating too much on eBay and places for the Steelbooks. But as far as gaming's concerned, the one I did get is quite a quality one. It's the Red Dead Redemption 2. I've been looking out for that one. I know a lot of people like the game. Not my cup of tea personally, but yeah. So that was the one and only gaming Steelbook that I've managed to pick up in the last month. But as I say, it is a nice one. I did pick up a few racing games. I'm a keen racing fan, and in fact, I'll be doing a video very shortly on PS4 and Xbox racing games, because it's a while since I did anything purely on video games. A lot of my videos now are sort of like films and comic books and other stuff in the collection. But I started off as a video game channel, strangely enough, 4 and a bit years ago, and I've never done many games video since. Anyway, that's by the by. Yeah, I picked that one up in the game sale. That worked out a tenner set, of course. So that's more of a simulation. But yeah, I didn't think it was bad for a tenner. I mean, I've not seen it that cheap anywhere else, so I thought we'd pick that one up. And this one brand new for 12 quid. You know, it's the classic Mario Kart type of racer, but it's got a little twist in it, in as much as you have to pick up these fruits and mix them up to make different power-ups and what have you. It's not bad. I mean, it's not the best Mario Kart type game I've ever seen, but it's got a little twist to it. So it wasn't absolutely terrible. And the other one I picked up in the 2 for 20 sale was that on the Xbox One. I'm not a big rally fan, but I've got all 3 of the WSC games on PS3, and this is the only one I've picked up so far on the current gen. So I'll be getting 4 and 5 at some point, because I think they're fairly cheap now. But I like to keep up to date with all the racing games, because it is a particularly favourite genre of mine. Now, as far as films are concerned, Steelbook wise, that's an old science fiction film, Species. Wasn't particularly expensive. There's the back. I remember it. I mean, it's a while since I've seen it. It's kind of Alien knockoff. I don't know. It might come out before Alien. I don't know. It's a fairly old film, but yeah, it's one I picked up. And then one of the classics, of course, Psycho. This is the original one. I know they remade Psycho, didn't they? Frame by frame recently, but that's the original Psycho. It's still sealed because I haven't got any plans to watch it any particular time soon. So that was that, and that was it about it for the Steelbooks. I did pick up this nice little jobby. This is one of these Interstellar, by the way. I never did manage to pick up the Steelbook for this because it sold out, and it was I think it was a Zavvi limited edition, about 1,000 or 2,000, I can't remember. But I know it sold out very quickly, and I missed it, so I'm on the lookout for it. But I did pick up this one cheap. It's rubbish falling out of it. It's what they call a film book. I think, you know, you've got a little got more stuff falling out of it. You've got a little booklet that's built into the cover, you know, with stills from the film and what have you. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad film. That I like most of Christopher Nolan's films, and that wasn't bad. So yeah, I thought I'd pick that up because it was cheap, and it's something different. Anything different, I tend to collect. Now on the lenticular front, I actually managed to find 3 this month that I haven't got. I mean, I thought I was fairly close to a full set, but I keep finding them. That is your Edge of Tomorrow. It's a weird one. It doesn't have much of a lenticular. Well, it didn't look too bad there, but when I looked at it, it didn't seem to have much of a lenticular feel to it. But there you are. This one I'd never heard of. I just saw it in the local Kex. Gods of Egypt 3D. It was only about £8, I think, so it's not bad for a 3D Blu-ray. And to say, it's another lenticular that I don't have. I mean, these are getting few and far between now. And this one was a complete surprise to me because I thought I already had it. I saw it in Kex again for £3. I don't know if I got that. I checked my Lentics and saw that I didn't have it. I was getting mixed up with the 3D Steelbook that I do have. Yeah, I mean, for £3 there again, it's another 3D Lentic. So, and it's in absolute mint condition. So I thought, yep, we'll have some of that for £3. So that was all of the Lentics and Steelbooks. A couple others to show you. I mentioned I mentioned last vid when I did the 1,000 subscriptions thing that I was going 4K. Well, I did go 4K, and I've picked up a few bits and pieces so far. I've got a load coming in the post, but yeah, I couldn't. Infinity War, I mean, that's lovely. That's lovely in 4K, as is Thor. These Marvel films are on 2 for 30 deals at the minute, so that's the 2 I bought, and I'll be picking up. I think there's about 8 or 9 you can get in the deal, probably at 8. So I'll be picking up the other 6 at some point. That was one I just picked up a couple of days ago. I bought something in HMV, and if you bought something, you could get this for a tenner. You can't get many sealed 4K films for a tenner. So X-Men Apocalypse, I quite like it actually. I know a lot of people didn't, but it looks very stylish in 4K, I have to say. And this one is a film that I really enjoyed. Passengers. Now that's the 4K collector's edition. I managed to find it in brand new mint for 15 quid, and you get these little art cards. I mean, they're still sealed, show you how minty it is, and then you get a copy of the 4K movie, and on top of that you get the script. That's the whole script of the film in there. So for 15 quid, I thought, I mean, bearing in mind that most 4K films, if they're especially brand new, will cost you around about the 15 quid mark for a collector's edition. I thought that was quite reasonable indeed. Right, we'll put that back later so we can get on. So now we come to the comic book stuff, which, as I say, forms the bulk of this video. I'll just run a few individual issues by you. That's the new deceased, as you can see. Some sort of zombie series they're doing with. I quite like the cover, so I'll have a bash at that. That's one of those, covers they do, variants with no logos on, and I quite like those. So I picked that up. I'll be reading that at some point, and then I picked up a few. That was another regular edition. That was the final issue of Heroes in Crisis. Very disappointed. First few issues were okay, but then it got a bit weird, and then I thought, everything will be explained in the last issue. Afraid not. So I was still scratching my head when I came away from that one, but if I've ever got the stamina, I'll go back and read all 9 and see if it makes any more sense when you read it straight off the bat, because sometimes you forget stuff when you read it month by month. And then I've picked up a few variants here. That's my good mate Thanos. That's a new series, a new mini-series they're doing of Thanos with Gamora. And that was a variant, limited to 3,000 apparently. So for a £5, wasn't complaining too much. Nice cover as well. And then this was Avengers No Road Home. I think we're up to about number 9 with this now. This is the first issue. That's a variant, and the reason I bought it is because I'm a big fan of Scarlet Witch, and it's a rather nice cover. Well, it was a 10 quid book originally, which marked down to 4, so I wasn't too unhappy with that. And then this is the new Green Lantern series. I've always been a fan of Green Lantern, and this is I hadn't realised actually that Grant Morrison had taken over the writing, and he's always an interesting writer, so I thought, yeah, we'll have some of that. That was another 10 quid variant that's down to 4 quid, so why not? And then this is a rather older, this is, it goes back to the Rebirth, so it's a lot older, that issue. It's only 2 quid, and it's Lentic, as you can see there. So yeah, that was the regular comics that I picked up. And now we'll just have a quick run through this little pile of hardbacks that I managed to pick up dirt cheap. Right, we'll start with Batman. Yeah, that's the new 52 volume 3. Emperor Penguin. I actually read that, it's not bad actually. Read a lot worse. And then that's volume 4, which continues the Emperor Penguin and brings in sort of some other storylines into it. But I've read a few issues of that one, but I haven't finished it yet. So that one's called The Wrath. So as I say, these are all sort of like 25. That one's $25 book. A lot of the others, a few of the others are $35 books, and have £3 each. Although I'm sad about the place closing. Like I say, that was the silver lining. Then we have Batman and Robin, the new 52 series. So I got volumes 2. Death of the Family is the next one. That's quite a famous recent story arc. So I'll be reading that one shortly. Death of the Family, that's volume 3. And then I didn't get volume 4, there wasn't one there, but got a volume 5. So I don't know what that one's all about. But as I say, for £3, I'm not bothered. And then I picked up some Green Lantern stuff. That's the volume 3 of the new 52 Green Lantern Corps. That was just an odd issue. Then we've got the New Guardians. That's Green Lantern New Guardians. That's volume 2. I don't know much about these Corps and New Guardians because I haven't read any for quite a while, and that was volume 3. I mean, it doesn't matter much these days, when you pick up these volumes of story arcs. I mean, that some carry on from another, but normally you can read them independently. So, as I say, a lot of those ones I bought haven't got volume 1, but you don't actually need volume 1 to read 2, 3, and 4, whatever. So that's good. It means you can read them independently. That was a new 52 series. They started Earth 2. So all the Earth 2 superheroes are slightly different to ours, obviously. And then, this was a nice one for £3. I mean, that's a $40 book, so that would, even on Amazon, you wouldn't get that anything for any less than $20-25. It's a celebration of all the top Lex Luthor stories from when he first came into Superman in the 30s, or 40s, I should say. And it's all the famous Luthor stories. It's quite a thick volume. Yeah, so I was pleased with that one. And then that was the DC stuff, and then we got some of these slim volumes that Marvel do. I mean, I say they're slim, they're still charge you $25 for them. That was a Doctor Strange one. So that volume 3, they normally show you the volume at the bottom there. So that was volume 3. That's by Chris Bachalo, however you pronounce it. I like him, so that's why I picked it up, and it was one of the volumes of Thor. Again, is volume 3. That one is the female, when Thor went female. That's a volume 1, that one, so unusual to find volume 1s. But having said that, that's a superior Iron Man. So I'm not really, that's a volume 1, not really familiar with a lot of this stuff, but once I get around to reading these, hopefully I will be. There's another volume 1 of the Guardians, Emperor Quill. I mean, although these are not very thick, they're nice and handy for storage because they don't take up much space, and you still get, you still get five comics in there, you know, volume of 5. So it's not bad for. I mean, I wouldn't want to pay $25 for it or whatever the English equivalent is now, 20 quid. A bit cheaper on Amazon, of course, but even so. And then we found a Daredevil. That's a volume 4, that one. So I also like Daredevil, but it's another character I've not really followed. Excuse me, I'll just take a quick swig. Right, and there's a Astonishing X-Men. That's I'm guessing that's a one-off. Must be a one-off storyline. Children of the Brood. I remember the Brood from way back in the 80s. That's a volume 1 of Wolverine and the X-Men. That's Chris Bacalo again, who I like, so I was pleased to get that for dirt cheap. And then we got this one. It's not what I expected, actually. It's actually Marvel graphic novel from way back in the 80s, Marvel graphic novel 12, which was The Dazzler. Are you familiar with that one? And then Beauty and the Beast was a mini-series from around about the same time. And then something called Marvel Heartbreakers. But yeah, as I say, at the price, I wasn't really too bothered. And then these last few are all sort of like larger volumes. You know, Marvel do these bigger size volumes. And that's volume 3 of the All New X-Men. I believe we have volume 2 stuck together. Volume 2. Yeah, oh no, sorry, that's 4. So, got 3 and 4 of the All New X-Men. And then these last couple. It's a Spider-Man volume 2. Amazing Spider-Man Worldwide. So another character I'm not really familiar with his doings at the moment. Totally unfamiliar with Deadpool. I don't think I've ever read a Deadpool comic, weirdly. That's volume 2. And then last but not least, we have, oh no, not 2 more. That's a paperback I happened to pick up because it's part of the Infinity Gems storyline. So that's Adam Warlock on the cover. We should be getting to see it in the next Guardians film. And that's just a collection of the Infinity Entity 1 to 4 and Thanos Annual 1. That's all in paperback, but had to have it. And then that's quite an interesting one. That's the final one I have to show you, the Cinematic Universe Guidebook. It sort of like takes you through all the films. It's not a comic. It's just stills and information on characters from all the films up to Thor 2, The Dark World, I believe. And then obviously there's a second volume, I would assume, that does most of the recent films. So yeah, so that was my pickups for May. Some quite nice stuff there. I have unusually for me, I've got a roadmap of videos that I intend to do shortly. You know, normally I just take them one at a time, but I've got I'm going to do a short video probably next or the one after about 4K, because there's a lot of confusion and misinformation online about 4K, I found, but I'll go deeper into that when I do the video. And then I've got another one lined up, as I say, for PlayStation and Xbox racing games, because I've got rather a large collection of those, so that'll probably be split over 2 or 3 videos. And then I've never ever done a PC games video, so I have a very sort of like extensive collection of first-person shooter games for PC, fantasy first-person shooters. By that I mean games that are not Call of Duty, you know, military ones. They're more like your Doom and fantasy stuff like that. So I've got that to do. I think there was one more, but I can't think of it offhand. But anyway, I've got 4 videos rolling around in my mind that I'm going to do, and hopefully now I've got off my backside to do the pickups, I'll be a bit more frequent. So yes, as usual, thanks very much for watching. As I say, I will get round to replying to everybody, and so until the next video, have fun. Bye bye now.